Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by Hidden Valley Farmstead. Um, so I'm sure you're wondering what animal I'm talking about. It's a big claim to say there's one specific animal that is the most beneficial to any small farm or homestead. And I just want to dive into that. So basically, I'm talking about chickens. Those little guys in there. Yep, chickens, the most beneficial. There's a lot of things I want to get over, a lot of common stuff, but a lot of things I feel like aren't known and overlooked. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to try and make this, pretty short and to the point. I don't have a lot of the editing software, so every time I mess up, I'm restarting the video. So, and I'm trying not to make it too boring. I know all the creators and everybody out there, they're saying, hey, change your angle and change the scenery up, and pretty much the best I can do is just hey. So that's about all I got. That's all my tricks. So we're just gonna do a straightforward video. Okay, so chickens. Really, there's so many things that you can do and get out of chickens that it's pretty crazy. So everybody knows you can raise them for meat, you can raise them for eggs, and their fertilizer or their manure is great fertilizer. You can add it to your compost piles and get that to your gardens. So fantastic stuff. Everybody knows that. So let's just kind of skip those right now. Basically, you want to look at startup costs. Okay, chickens are very cheap to get into. $10 or less, you can get basically any heritage breed out there, and within 4 to 6 months, you're going to get a return on that. Either with meat or eggs or both, and so you got low startup costs and a quick return. So those are both benefits. Also, their feed, it's pretty inexpensive, but you can substitute it with so many different things. They like grass, you can see out here. They like grass, weeds around your house. We get a lot of that London rocket, and they love that stuff. They eat all the bugs, any seeds that fall on the ground, kitchen scraps, all kinds of stuff. So you can supplement their feed very easily as well. You can let them free range. I don't do full out free range because they're gonna get eaten by predators. And when they're just free ranging, your egg production is definitely gonna go down. So we do give them some grain, but really it's pretty inexpensive when you're looking at all the animals across the board. So aside from that, they're a very small animal, so it's easy to maneuver them and move them around. Starting out on a homestead, a farm, or anything, you're, things are going to change year to year, and you don't want to set up a huge structure unless if you're 100% certain. But if you do decide to make a move, make a change, or something like that, you can just pick up your chickens, move them, take them somewhere, get them set up in a whole new spot, and it's really easy. You don't need a special truck, or you don't need any equipment. You don't need a trailer to haul them around. Pigs, the sheep, goats, cows, whatever. So you don't need any special equipment to move them around. So again, your startup costs are extremely, extremely low. Now, some of the things we do, we collect their eggshells. We grind them up, and actually I got some here. We grind them up. We do a couple things with that. We'll do them real small, and we'll mix this in with their feed to give calcium back to the chickens. And I know there's a lot of people out there saying don't give chicken eggs to chickens because they'll eat the eggs, and that's not true. They eat eggs because they end up breaking one on accident, and then they find the yolk in there, and that's what they love, that's what they're after. So when we collect the eggshells, throw them in the oven for about 10 minutes just to make sure everything's cooked off, and then it's just eggshells. That doesn't turn them into egg eaters, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, we'll throw some into their food to give them calcium, which helps them produce more eggs. We'll also take some, and I'll take this and I'll sprinkle it right on top of the garden soil. And any soft body insects that are crawling on there, the eggshells, well, they kill them. So you can use it for pest control pretty easily. Basically works exactly the same as diatomaceous earth, which is really just crushed up seashells that has sharp edges. Well, crushed up eggshells have sharp edges, and it'll take care of a lot of your garden pests. Aside from that, you know, if you want to get an area ready for a garden, you don't want to till it, or you don't have a way to till it, but you want to get it prepped and get that soil built up and everything, you can set the chickens up. There's a lot of people out there that show you, like Justin Rhodes. He's got a lot of cool videos out there how he uses the chickens to till up an area. You know, they're scratching constantly at the soil while they're putting their manure on it, and they're mixing that into the soil. And you give them a little bit of time, they'll eat any vegetation that's on there and get your ground ready to start a new garden in it. So they can do wonders that way. Another thing that we do with them too is, obviously you want to butcher them and get the meat, but what do you do with all the bones that are left over, right? We'll take the bones and we'll set them aside in a Ziploc bag, throw them in the freezer, and we do the same thing with some veggies that we cut up. You know, the ends of carrots, ends of onions, celery, all that stuff. We keep those scraps and throw those in a Ziploc bag, and then when we have enough, we throw them all together and make some chicken stock. Then we can it. Really didn't think this through very well. I should have just set everything right next to me. But we'll make, you know, chicken stock or chicken broth out of the bones. So your bones aren't going to waste. Now, when you strain that chicken's broth or stock, whatever you're doing, when you strain that, you still have some bones in there. If you take those bones, put them on a baking sheet, throw them in the oven for about 20-30 minutes at about 400 degrees. Take them out, they're going to be extremely brittle. Okay, take a little mortar and pestle, break them up, toss them in your blender, and you'll get a powder out of it. That's bone meal. You know, if you've been gardening at all, you've probably heard or used bone meal. That's all you have to do. You know, chicken bones, it only takes a little bit and they break up very easy. Pig bones and cow bones, you do the same thing. You cook them longer and it's a little bit more intensive, but same thing. That's how you make bone meal. And really, you just take that, throw it in the garden, and it's a great supplement for your garden. So now your bones aren't wasted. I forgot to mention too, with the eggshells, when you throw them in your garden, they're going to be getting rid of pests, but they're also going to be adding calcium to your soil. You know, a lot of plants, like tomatoes, love calcium. They're heavy calcium feeders. You know, every time I transplant a new tomato plant into the garden, I'll throw some crushed eggshells at the bottom of the hole there, and they'll slowly decay and release calcium back to that tomato plant throughout the whole growing season. You know, and when you just sprinkle them on top, they'll slowly break down and add some calcium back into that soil for you. So another added benefit of that. But where was I? Yeah, the bones. Also, when you butcher your chickens, the head, the guts, the feathers, all of those things can go in your compost pile. I don't care what anybody says, you know, don't put meats and this and that in your compost. All those things can go in your compost pile, and they break down and they just add to it. So the chicken heads, they take a little bit longer to break down, but all of that stuff, all of that, we put it in there. Now you're really just left with the chicken feet, and there are some people out there who will buy them. You're going to find it hard to sell them. I think it's more of a waste to store them and try and sell them. But what you can do is you can throw them in the oven, or you can throw them on your smoker and smoke them, and turn them into little dog treats. You know, dogs love them. So that way you can take the feet, throw them on the smoker, take them out. You know, we can keep them in the freezer and just every once in a while toss them out and give them to the dogs, and they love them. Okay, so literally every part of a chicken can be used and is very good for everything you're doing. You know, that's good quality proteins for your dog. The chicken eggs, yeah, great for additives for your compost in your soil in your garden. You know, they're chicken manure. This is kind of the setup here. So we got the chickens running out here on the grass, and their coop and their run is right here next to me. Right behind me, you can't see, okay. I only have 2 little compost piles right now, kind of what's left of them, because we just filled up those garden beds. So I can take everything out of here, take it there to the compost piles, and then from the compost to the garden. So it's all right there. And then again, also take clippings from the garden, toss it over there. You know, any weeds or vegetables that we don't want, they didn't come out very good or they got eaten by insects, toss them over here to the chickens, and it just kind of goes back and forth. So I don't know what else I was gonna really talk about here. Oh, that's right, one last thing. So when you butcher them and you're hanging them upside down, you know, do your thing. Keep a bucket underneath them, and the blood that collects, you can dry that out, turn that into a powder, and there's your blood meal. So you can take that also and turn that back into your soil. There's a lot of people out there who'll just take it and dump it straight as a liquid on there as well. So pretty much every part of a chicken is useful. You get great meat, eggs, short amount of time, low cost. You can use them around to take care of weeds, to set up your next garden area, add to the compost, which adds to your vegetables and everything. So really they're fantastic animals, and absolutely nothing goes to waste. You don't need any specific, you know, equipment. You'll need one set of equipment, and this is for trying to make some extra money. And that's another aspect we can talk about too. You know, when you raise some pasture poultry, you know, those sell for $5-6 a pound. Well, pork and beef, when you raise those and sell them as wholes or halves, you sell them for $5, $6, $7, $8 a pound. So pound for pound, you're getting a decent dollar amount for that. You know, your chicken eggs, aside from what's going on right now, your chicken eggs, you're going to sell them $5-6 a dozen. So you can make some decent money off of that. You can sell your compost and make some money off of that. Yeah, I think that's, chicken eggs. Yeah. So if you get a incubator, you can take those chicken eggs in there, and you can hatch out some turkeys. Or that doesn't work, does it? Yeah, so I bet you didn't know this. If you take chicken eggs and throw them in an incubator, they'll turn into turkeys for you. I didn't know that until just right now, but it happens. No, take your chickens and throw them in an incubator and hatch them out, and you can sell them that way, you know, as day-old chicks. You can sell fertilized eggs and make decent income off of that. Day-old chicks, you can raise them and sell young pullets, or, you know, ready-to-go hens, you know, point-of-lay hens. So there's a lot of different ways that you can monetize the chickens as well. So a million uses. There's zero waste from them, and tons of benefits all around the farm. So I hope this was beneficial to somebody out there. I hope it made your day and gave some information to at least one person, because that's what I'm trying to do. So hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope it wasn't too strung out, and I'm sorry I didn't have too many angles going on here, but that's just kind of the way it is right now. So hopefully I can get some software and stuff here pretty soon and start getting some better videos out there for you guys. But right now, just trying to throw out what we're doing and give some ideas and different things like that. So anyways, you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.